Yeah. See, you can hear it. I can't hear it with the lick. But hey, welcome. We're going to be talking a little bit about industry news, industry insights. We're going to be highlighting some individuals that are making a meaning and making a difference within the industrial space. Nancy, how are you doing?
I'm awesome today, Scott.
You are. You're always awesome. You're always a lot of fun. I like it. I like where you're going with all that. All right. Once again, real quick, we're going to make this meaningful and direct and to the point. And once again, we're going to be talking as we continue to go forward within this particular series. We're going to do a little scheduling change. We're going to shift because we've been sort of testing out StreamYard. I think we're feeling a little bit more warm and fuzzy with it. We're going to shift this time to 10 o'clock on Monday, just because I think we want to be able to sort of prepare for the week and get everybody's mindsets and sort of put a little pressure on us to be able to deliver, because I know that I need that type of push. How's your week been?
Yeah, my week's been awesome, Scott. And it's 10 a.m. Central Time, just so everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 a.m. Central Time. That's a good point. But
Yep.
then we'll schedule it out there. It's not a problem. It won't be anything that is something that is going to be a mystery. Now, just real quick, now on the Industrial Talk podcast, we've got some great content. Well, Nancy's been on it as an interviewee. We spoke to a gentleman by the name of Neil Sahota. He's with the University of California at Irvine. We've talked about the unlikely real, or just the real innovation. And everybody's talking about innovation, but how does that innovation begin to transform businesses? It's one thing to say, yeah, I got the innovation, but how does it transform business? That's Neil Sahota. Tim Ward, and people are talking about writing books and all this. He's a publisher, and we're talking in that particular interview about resiliency. We've got a company by the name of Bentley. You've heard of Bentley. Her name is Sandra DiMatteo, and we were talking digital twin, and that's another type of technology that people are starting to embrace and see the value in that. And then finally, Michael Mills with Fluke Reliability, and we're talking about industrial safety, and specifically in a changing world right now. And we start talking about applying reliability in this world and how we can make things safe. So that's on the Industrial Talk podcast, and that's what's scheduled for this week. So what do you got on your docket?
Actually, Scott, you gave me an idea, and then something else popped into my head, and I'm having a reliability surprise party on Friday. I'm gonna just save fear, get lost, and I'm going live, and I'm gonna figure out the tech too. And I'm having a little reliability surprise party because July 10th is a very important anniversary for maintenance and reliability.
No kidding.
Yes.
Are you going to be doing a live yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to do a live.
What are you using for the platform? Are you using StreamYard?
You can use Zoom and you can live stream to YouTube at the same time. So I'm going to give it a roll.
You're killing me, man. You got to be talking to me about this whole technology stuff. I'd help you and make your life easier. Just FYI.
All right. Thank you. Now, if you're in, I'm going to call you after this call.
Yeah, you should. You should. So anyway, you said you were going to mention something, which is pretty interesting. Outside of that surprise party, is that exactly what you wanted to talk about?
No. So today, I want to talk about the biggest problem when it comes to reliability and one of the solutions to it. And it comes to us from nature. So I have something special to show you.
Talk to us.
Well, you go first, because I'm gonna piggyback off of.
Okay. So one of the interviews that I did this week, and it was really quite a cool interview. His name is Robert Nemec. Now he goes by Bob, so I'm just going to continue to call him Bob. Make note of that. Whoever's listening out there, he's with Twist Think, which is an interesting company, but they focus in on IoT, AI, all of the emerging technologies. But they've been in it. They've been in it for 20 years. So they got some major, digitization street cred. But one of the things that I was really interested in, so you go out to their website. They've got a great website. They got great insights into what's taking place, and found this article by Kurt Dykema. So I just sorry, Kurt, if you're out there. DYKEMA is his name, and it is about 6 questions you need to ask to drive and realize IoT success. So the premise behind this is because in my conversation with Bob, I just said, everybody's not, I mean, once again, we talk about the necessity to innovate. We talk about the need to be able to do that. But me personally, where do I go? Who do I talk to? Where's the starting line so that I can make my moves, because time is precious, to make my moves efficient and I get to where I need to go. And so this particular article talks a little bit about that. So I'm pretty interested. Now, I sent it to you. What are your insights on it?
Okay, so I love this article, Scott, because usually when I read articles or I hear about things like IoT, Industrial Internet of Things, it's advanced with respect to reliability, managing reliability. It's definitely advanced, and most organizations are not there yet. So it feels like something really big. But when I read that article, it broke it down because he's got those 6 steps, but it was very simply laid out. And one of several things resonated with me, but the biggest thing was this. He talks about a human-centered design process.
Big time. And he's big into that. The whole company is.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit. Why is that important?
I mean, to me, it means that he's bringing in the people, the equipment experts, the people who know the equipment and the operating environment. And he's going to work with them to help them implement this advanced technology instead of just bulldozing in and throwing sensors on everything and collecting data that we don't know what to do with. So that's what resonated with me the most.
Well, it was interesting because in my conversation with Bob, that was also something that resonated with me. And it was a matter of really focusing in on that human-centered design when you proceed down forward. And because in this article, which was just sort of we'll go through the points, but what was interesting, where is that thing? The consultants were quick to share that with readers that 75% of the projects aren't successful.
Yep.
75. Now, I don't want to take my hard-earned cash and put it into something that has the probability, a 75% probability of failure. I'm just not interested in that at all.
Yep.
And 30% of the IoTs projects fell in the proof of concept stage, meaning they just really didn't, hash it out in the proof of concept. So that is a stunning stat.
Yep.
So
because there are 2 facets. There's the human facet, and there's the technical facet. And most people just focus on technology. But another thing he said in the article is this. Yeah. He keeps teams focused on what's valuable. And this is the key thing, is that he's bringing the people involved.
Yeah, you can't do this in a vacuum. And especially now, if you have that methodical approach and recognize the need for innovation and the need for technology, and having that technology, in my interview with Neil Sahota, truly transform your enterprise, you have to do it in a team type of environment, without a doubt. Now, Kurt goes down and he says, okay, the framework isn't complicated. So he goes through all of this stuff. Granted, TwistThink has a tremendous amount of street cred when it comes to that. They've got so many devices. They got a ton of devices attached. But the framework is identify the stakeholders, team, crawl into the world. Their world, sort of. It's like once again, you got to understand what their world is like. What is it?
Right. He's not assuming that he knows their world and he knows their pain points. He's asking them.
Yes. Find their pain points. Find them. Isn't it amazing that is such a basic concept yet we constantly gloss over it. It's like, hey, I got all these devices. Now let me put it on out there. But we never really talk about why, and what's the pain? What are we trying to solve here? And then the last one is use data to make the pain go away. I mean, how are you going to argue with that?
Look,
what's that?
I wrote that down, but I got a sticky note on what the punchline is for me. Cause I'm an RCM girl, reliability centered maintenance, right? I'm all about failure modes and effects analysis and logically figuring out how to manage our assets. So to me, the magic here is what I infer from what I read, from what he said, is that he's going to work with teams to figure out individual failure causes, right? So not just running into an organization, slapping senses everywhere. Right. He's going to be methodical about it. What are we trying to manage? Because one of the most valuable lessons that my mentor, John Mowbray, taught me was this.
Name dropper.
Yeah, look at this. I know. Right. We manage machines at the failure mode level, right? So we check our tire tread because our tires wear due to normal use, and we change our oil I do it every 7,500 miles because it deteriorates over time, right? I check my oil level every several thousand miles because my Boxster engine consumes oil just due to normal use. So that's what I loved about what he said.
Well, kudos to them. And here are the sort of, as you've got the framework, we talked about the framework. Let's expand a little bit about the 6 points as per the 6 questions you need to ask to drive and realize IoT success. So the first one is there a problem worth solving? Is there a problem worth solving?
Yep.
And so if there is, then great. Let's figure out how to solve in light of what we're talking about. Identify the stakeholders, crawl into the worlds, find the pain, and then make the pain go away through data. So if there's a problem worth solving, there you go. And they use human-centered design. That's pretty cool.
I love it. There's one more thing that he said that resonated with me. He said it requires discipline and focus. So he's not going in there and saying, here's the magic wand, here's the silver bullet, here's the answer to all of your reliability prayers. Because we live in the real world and not fantasy land, and anything of value takes discipline and focus. And it's just going to take work. It's just not magic.
Do you find, especially today, and there's a lot of pressure because everybody's trying to survive. Everybody's trying to get back into the mode and then trying to prosper in this whatever new world and the changes of them. Do you find people have less patience and they're trying to look for that silver bullet of success? And I don't think it's there. I think it still applies.
Yes, there are no silver bullets. There just aren't. It just doesn't, because we live in the real world. And that really applies to everything. It applies to our personal lives as well.
So the first one, once again, is there's a problem worth solving. Great. The second point, who benefits from the solution and are they willing to pay for it? Right? Who? And it always gets down to it. It's like, who's going to benefit? Well, let's say the operations, but are they going to pay for it? And if they're not going to pay for it, then that's a whole nother challenge. If they're going to pay for it, then great. Let's apply the process. But if they're not, then it's destined to fail. It's not going to work, right?
Right, but see what I'm assuming he helps organizations do is, if it is operations, for example, or production or whoever it is, it seems to me, I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I'm inferring again from what he wrote that he's going to help people see the value, because really every organization wants the same thing. It's just that their perspectives are different. If machines do what they're supposed to do, then everybody's happy.
And if everybody's happy, which I'm not sure if that is truly the case, and that's where you step in with a lot of your great thinking. Now, one of the things that he points out, if all end users can all validate that the solution benefits them and can recognize the value it provides, then it becomes a solution worth testing. And that's not just with technology, that's not with innovation, that's pretty much sound advice across the board in solving problems, especially today.
Yeah.
I like that. So far, so good, Kurt. Thank you. You're
Yes,
rocking.
thank you. Great article.
Keep going. Okay. The third one, what is the composition of the project team? Who leads it? And is the process agile? That's a big deal. I mean,
Huge deal.
yeah, we've been a part of teams that maybe the leader wasn't really a leader, and is it truly the process agile as opposed to a very cumbersome and sort of archaic approach? So that's a real important one. So that's number 3. What is the composition of the project team? Good him.
How many times have you been in a meeting and someone will say, well, if we can get this done, then we'll be successful. And everyone says, yeah, all we have to do is that. And then the meeting ends, but there's no one who is responsible. It's like the we word,
Right. They go back to the salt mine and they start doing what they were doing before the meeting. Everybody could be shaking their heads. It's not just, this is a great article, but it also points out the fact that it always gets down to people, the human. Success in reliability centered maintenance and that discipline gets down to people. It's, technology is technology. Failure codes are failure codes. It's how do you get the people engaged and in support of that? That's huge. Yeah. I like it. So far, so good. 3 for 3. Batting 1,000 on this one. Is the customized edge device. Now, to define edge, you got an asset, you got a device, sends it to an edge device, and then in that edge device can determine what is good data and bad data and all this. It has some real intellectual horsepower in there, and then sends it up to the cloud, sort of the architecture. So is the customized edge device and or sensor necessary? I mean, it's a good question. I mean, you've been in. If your team says, "Yeah, we got to do it," but then if it's not necessary, then why?
Yeah.
Because this is sort of interesting. There was a point in time when devices were expensive, and it was a CapEx project. So if I want to try to track data on this pump, motor, whatever it might be, before these devices it was a CapEx. It was like, I got to dig a ditch, I got to put a device out there, and then I got to do this. It's a lot of work. But now, because these devices, and because we've got a relationship with Fluke Reliability, they've got great devices. The problem is that those devices have a great price point, and they're simple to install. So everybody's like, yeah, give me a bunch, and then I'll just plop, 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 plop. That is a great question, because maybe that asset doesn't need a device.
Right. So again, we're getting down. It's important to get to the failure cause level. What exactly are we trying to manage with this device?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Failure cause. Yeah, you're special.
I'm full of them, Scott.
All right. And then, so let me see, is a customized device. Okay, good, fine. 4, fine. 5. What is the maximum viable product, the MVP? And what should follow? Now, I didn't read this part of that, and I should have, but I didn't. So what is the desirable user experience identified through your research? It's time to bring the initial iteration of the solution to life.
Take action. Don't let it just sit there, but
big time.
Yeah, actually implement it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And see, what's great about TwistThink, they've got it down. And what I like about it is that their approach is truly human focus, person focus on solving a pain, solving an issue, and then being able to translate that into an innovative solution, technology, whatever it might be, for the long-term and long-term success. I do like that a lot. And then finally, if I can find it, number 6, how many prototypes will be built and tested before production? So the reality is, one, it's easy to get devices. All right, maybe these devices, and they're not down the road of, let's say, twist think, where they truly design and create a solution that is you. But a lot of times they're just like, okay, let's get the data. I love this. And they're willing to test it and then be able to really, from a cost perspective, it might be this, but before you really launch it, where it costs this, you really ferret out the solution itself. I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Kurt Dykema, Dykema, with Twist Think is it. I will put this link out on the Industrial Talk podcast, and I think it's going to be. We'll launch this under a podcast as well, and it'll all be right there for that link as we go forward. Okay. Any other things that we need to talk about at this particular time? I think we really kicked it in the chops on that one.
Yeah, that was awesome. Well, I have something that happened at my house today that reminded me about the biggest problem when it comes to reliability.
People.
Well, essentially, yeah. Now you're going to think I'm a nut. You already think I'm a nut, so it doesn't matter.
I already think you're not, man.
I know.
So,
all right, look. I had nesting robins right outside my kitchen window. Okay. So, when I was making dinner or whatever, I would just always find myself going back to the window because they do the same thing all day, but I found it fascinating. And everything reminds me about maintenance and reliability, but here we go. Look, I want you to watch it.
Check it out.
Okay, now watch this. So there's 3 babies in the nest, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Watch. The mom is going to come. She's going to come with some worms. And this is only for about 45 seconds, so I'm not going to make you watch this boring video forever. But just check it out. She's on her way. Here she is. Okay. She's got a beak full of worms, right? Now watch. She's going to wait because she knows what's going to happen to this bird that she just fed. It's going to happen fast, so watch what happens. It's going to take about, 10 or 20 seconds. She knows. She just instinctively knows what's going to happen, and she's just waiting for it. She's a good mama, so she's ready. Watch what happens. He's wanting more, but she's like, we got to take care of something else first. Did you see that?
Yeah.
What
was it?
The baby bird just pooped.
Oh.
I know. Hang with me now.
So go ahead.
Okay, so apparently when the baby bird eats, it stimulates them and they poop right away. But the mama knows. So she either eats it or she carries it away.
Right.
Now, one of the reasons is so that waste doesn't build up and, soil the nest. And also it doesn't start to smell because that will attract predators. So she knows. So this is what reminded me about reliability. In my opinion, the biggest problem in reliability is too many organizations are living in reactive mode. Running from fire to fire, right?
Yeah.
Fix this problem, now that problem. And then people don't have the time or the space, even mentally, to just pause to try and get proactive. So what my recommendation is, or what I think part of the solution is to start small. You don't have to sit down and say,
I love it.
What, you want to say something?
No. I love that. Start small, incrementalism.
Yeah. I think a lot of organizations think I either have to have a full-blown reliability program or I have nothing, or I should just not even do it. So when I saw that mama bird do that, those birds, it took them maybe about a week and a half or 2 weeks from hatching until they fledged. So she didn't wait until they were just about to fledge to get rid of all the poop in the nest. She did it every single time they went. So if we work on our reliability incrementally with small things, we can build on our successes. We build our momentum. And then before you know it, we have a full-blown reliability program going. Because I think, and go.
No, that's what it's so easy to say, if I got to do a reliability program, it looks like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to look like this. It can look like this. And incrementally just start attacking defects and getting some real value real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez, I never thought the bird.
Scott, if someone wants to lose weight and get fit, right? The solution is not to just eat 500 calories a day and go to the gym twice a day, 7 days a week. You know, if you start off because that will never work, right? Or you say, I'm never going to eat sugar ever again. Well, I mean, yeah, I tried that. Good luck with that. Let me know if it works. It doesn't, because it's an absolute. But if you do small things and you build on them, but then before you know it, you have a healthy body, a healthy lifestyle, and you can have a cup every now and then.
I'm going to be approaching sales from the HIIT, high intensity interval training approach, right? So me personally, based off of that, I naturally build muscle. It's easy. It's whatever it is. But I'm lousy at any cardio. I'm lousy at, flexibility. But to really get the best out of it, I have to cross train and I have to do more of the little things to get better as a whole. And that's just a fact. As much as I hate it, it's just a fact that takes it undeniable. That's for doggone sure.
Yep.
I like it. That's a pretty cool little analogy. I never thought of that. Never.
I mean, we have my birds to thank. They're all gone now. We have an empty nest. They grow up so fast.
I remember when they were. Just little eggs. Son of a gun. Well, that's amazing. That's good. All right. We're going to have to wrap it up. Thanks to Kurt, Dykema, Twist Think. Thank you very much for sharing your wisdom or allowing us to share your wisdom. Once again, it's going to be out there on the Industrial Talk podcast with this particular live Being It podcast. That's what's in great. Neil Sahota, check him out. That's an important conversation. Unlocking the real innovations that change. That's what we're talking about. Tim Ward, Develop Resiliency. Check that one out. Sandra, Digital Twin. We're going to have to be talking about Digital Twin. I'm not an expert, but apparently that's a big deal with Bentley. Boom. Sandra D. Mateo. And then the last one will be Michael Mills, Fluke Reliability, talking about safety. Can't have enough safety, especially today, man. All right. What do you think?
I think it's awesome, Scott. And
all right, you listeners out there, Monday, 10
Central Time.
AM Central Time. We're gonna get our day or our week started in a way that makes a lot of sense. All right, thank you very much for joining the Nancy and Scott insights into industrial news. And there's so much great thinking out there. It's so cool. We're very fortunate to be a part of industry, manufacturing, whatever it might be, because they innovate, they collaborate, they do everything. It's a great group of people. How's that? Yep. All right. Thank you very much. We'll be back on Monday with some more news.
Bye. Thanks.
There we go.